joining us here as we celebrate the birth of the newest member to our dolphin family. And there's actually a good look at her right here at the surface. She's swimming around with her mom. I want to tell you all about what went into this moment right now. And I want to let you guys know also that you guys are among the first people ever to see this baby dolphin in person. So give yourselves a round of applause. Thanks for joining us this morning. Well, we have Sadie is our mom, our brand new mom. She's actually born right here, or she was born within our SeaWorld family parks in Texas. This is her second calf. Her first calf, her name is Koa. She's 5 years old and she's swimming around in our back pools with the rest of our dolphins. We wanted to give mom some special time alone with her new baby and her very best friend Malibu. Malibu is the other dolphin that you see swimming along. She's helping Sadie out. They actually had calves together about 5 years ago, and Malibu is a key ingredient in this success of this calf because she definitely gives mom a time to rest. She's there to bond with the baby and the mom, and she is Sadie's very best friend. So what went into this preparation? It was 12 months in the making. Dolphins are pregnant for a whole year. So in preparation for this moment, we've actually had a pretty extensive prenatal plan for Sadie, which included taking her weight. And then as she got bigger and the pregnancy progressed, we stopped actually sliding her up onto a scale because we didn't want to put any more pressure on that belly of hers. So we actually had a formula where we calculated her measurements. So we would take weekly measurements on her instead of sliding her around on a scale. And we measured around 3 places around her body and also in between her mammaries. So that all went into it. We had sonograms, regular sonograms for her and blood tests just to make sure everything was progressing right. So just like we go into the doctor when we're pregnant, we have the doctors come to Sadie. So they monitor very closely. Now, just a couple of days ago, we saw some signs of labor and that this might be getting really close. Now you might be wondering, what are some of those signs? Well, first we saw a drop in Sadie's temperature. We've been taking temperatures on her every day and then twice a day as we got closer to her due date. So we saw a drop in her temperature actually on Thursday. Then Friday it went down even more. So then we were like, okay, it's getting close. Friday we were we started our 24-hour watch. Day, night, to monitor Sadie. So we were on hand 24 hours a day starting Friday. Then we saw yesterday, she just decided to not be interested in her food. Now knowing Sadie, she actually loves her food. She loves to eat. So that is a normal thing for dolphins to do when they start to go into labor, is they're like, I'm not really interested in food right now. I got something bigger happening. So we saw that from her yesterday. Then we watched as she progressed along, and yesterday at about 1:56, we saw the beginnings of what we could see at the tip of the tail fluke. Now baby dolphins are actually born tail first. And that's completely normal because when a dolphin's inside the mom, they're all squishy, their fins are nice and soft, all curled up. So that gives the tail a nice time to actually get a little bit stiff and help with the swimming that the calf's going to need to do. So shortly after that, we saw her flukes out. She swam around for about an hour and a half with the tail flukes just hanging out, getting nice and stiff, having contractions, everything looked great. Well, yesterday about 3:32, we were all very excited to welcome her new baby right into our pool, into our family. So we were very excited about that, and we watched as she took her very first breath. Mom is a very good mom. Sadie's very good with her. She helped her come all the way up, take her down. So she's building up her lung resistance right now, and her lung capacity right now, practicing holding that breath. So she has to swim down deep. She's given her a whole tour of the pool, and Malibu's been right by her side as well. So we're very excited about that. A couple other things I'd like to notice, you might notice with the baby now, is she's got some vertical lines across her body. Those are called fetal folds. That shows you that when she was in the uterus, she was all squished up in like a little C or a U shape. So now that she's out, she's going to have those fetal folds for a couple of months until she gets bigger and bigger. Now how she grows, she nurses. And we've already seen a great amount of nursing just from yesterday to now. You might be wondering, how does she nurse? Well, if she does it while we're out here, this would be a great opportunity. But what you're going to start to see is Sadie will stop swimming. She'll stop pumping her tail to give the calf a little bit of room to come in underneath. And there's actually two little mammaries, one on the left, one on the right, that the baby can latch into. So Sadie will kind of turn on her side, the baby will drift back right towards her tail, and they'll be attached, and they'll just glide through the water. Now what we want to see when we see that nursing is actually like a little milk cloud when they separate. So that tells us that the milk is coming. And you might be wondering how fat the milk is, how much weight the babies gain. They gain a tremendous amount of weight because that milk that she's nursing from is 33% milk fat. The milk that we drink, whole milk, is 4%. So just to put it in perspective of how much she's going to put on, because she lives in the water. So she's going to need to build up some weight to keep her nice and warm. Now, dolphins are mammals, just like you and I. So they're born alive. We definitely saw that. They breathe air. They nurse their babies. And you might be wondering, we all have hair, but dolphins, they don't look like they have any hair. Well, actually, when they're born, this is going to help assist the baby, is that they have little whiskers right around on the tips of their rostrum. And they use those whiskers to actually help find the mammaries to assist them to nurse. And then once they're proficient at it, generally those whiskers will fall out, but the hair follicles remain. So we'll get to see that as well. So I'm hoping that you guys get to see some nursing. Shortly after yesterday, we started giving Sadie some fish, and she was eating just great. Right now, we're watching them in a kind of a resting pattern. This is normal. When moms and babies are first born, moms don't usually stop. As they get older, they might stop, they might rest, they might sit here and take a look at us. Well, now the baby's kind of swimming around, and we've seen some independence from her. So Sadie's actually pretty tired. She's keeping up with this baby all night long. So they're in a resting pattern. So what happens when they rest is they might just swim nice and slowly at the surface, slowly underwater. And such a neat thing that I'd like to share with all of you is that when moms and babies rest, they rest. Dolphins sleep with one eye open and one eye closed. That's how they rest. But when you have a mom-baby pair, the eye that's open is the eye that's on each other. So they're always keeping an eye on each other, their outside eye is closed. When they need to rest the other half of their brain, they switch. So then they always keep the eye on each other open. And I think that's a really special fact to share with you guys. Another thing that is really cool is how they communicate with each other. Now, they have a signature whistle that they vocalize, and the babies actually will adopt their mother's signature whistle, so they'll always be able to identify with each other that signature whistle. So we haven't seen much of that yet, but that we look forward to seeing in the future. Now, you might be wondering, when am I going to get to see a dolphin show? Right? When am I coming back to see a dolphin show? Well, for the next few days, we're going to be doing these presentations with the mom and baby and having Malibu out here and enjoying, just getting to see, giving them some time in this pool to figure things out, get everything on track. We'll resume the shows once we can move them throughout our system. So we have actually 10 other dolphins and 3 pilot whales that live here as well. So we're not going to start introducing them to those guys just yet. That will be down the road in the future. But when we're able to resume dolphin shows, we're going to make sure that Sadie is moving her calf through the different pools so that she can see this is her whole entire home. It's not just this pool. She's got a big tour to give that baby. So when she's doing that successfully, then we'll start resuming our normal shows. We definitely invite you guys back, though, to check her progress throughout the next couple years, because you might see her out here following mom around in the show, doing all kinds of things. And I wanted to share with you one last thing before we go, is if you'd like to help us name this little baby, she doesn't have a name yet. If you'd like to help us name this little baby, you can be a SeaWorld Facebook fan, and you can have a say in what name she gets. So we're going to put some final names up, and you guys get to vote on it and help us name the calf. So we'd like to thank you all for joining us right here at Dolphin Stadium, welcoming the new birth of our little friend here. And we want to invite you back later through the day. We have trainers here for questions. If anybody has any questions, we'd love to answer those questions for you. Thanks for visiting us, and have a great day at SeaWorld, everybody.
Isso, Rosemara. Só um centavo, já que eu não estou